It is recording. Yeah, questions throughout, guys. Throw it in chat. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Mine was filled with two dinners. So we went to my wife's, my in-laws, ate there, and then went over to my parents, which live like, I don't know, 10 minutes away. So lots of food yesterday. Typical, occasional dysfunction, yet great times. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. But yeah, I always enjoy Thanksgiving. But as we get older, my wife and I driving home last night, we're like, man, I think we need to go on vacation next year, take a little break from the family thing, and enjoy our immediate family. So I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Others probably had a blast. Those of you that are not in the States, hope you had a wonderful Thursday. So I'm gonna go on for about 45 minutes or so, maybe more, if you guys have more questions. Yeah, I mean, just looking in here, guys, I see a lot of like the OGs that were part of this project from the get-go. And, you know, it doesn't surprise me that with my absence, past several months, that the community is not as active. You know, I think it's going to dwindle down to the people that really want to be here, and I get that. And, you know, with Web3 wanting things immediately, that's just not the case here right now. You know, I think you guys are so used to me being in chat all day and providing calls every single day and just lots of action, you know. And, you know, it was great. You know, I loved it. You know, I was able to, before that point, in real life, you know, I was consulting. I was able to do that half-time or part-time and then start diving into Web3, made, you know, lots of money trading, and I was able to, you know, eventually go Web3 full-time. And then if you just look at announcements, in case you've been living under a hole, got hit with theft. Wiped out a lot more than I'd like to admit on my end. So a lot of investments I had in lots of other wallets gone. So, you know, I mean, I spread lots of things out. You know, so I did have some stuff like on Coinbase and stuff like that was not stolen. Had some stuff on ledgers too. Obviously, our DAO wallet was affected by that. But that was a tough one to recover from. You know, anytime you get violated or a victim of theft, it's especially not only when it hits you hard financially, that's enough pain, but when you get money stolen that affects the DAO, that's another thing, right? So it just has made me pretty bummed out, you know. And I talked about this a lot in the last VC we had, so I'm not going to go down that road. I want to kind of turn the page, and you know, there's definitely some grieving on my end, and one of those things where even when I sign in, it would just kind of make my stomach turn, you know. Just because, you know, I felt like, you know, even though it's the DAO, we all knew, you know, how trading was done and how wallets were done and how we had to be really quick to pull triggers on trading. You know, even though we were all in that together, I was still leading the ship, you know, so I felt like I let you guys down a ton, you know, so that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, the DAO did over $100,000 in 12 months, you know, we were on our way to doing big things, right? And so I think that that's still going to happen. It's just going to take some time, and I think that's like the dirty word in Web3 is it's going to take some time because everybody wants it so quickly. But you almost have to look at this as big picture, slow to recover, but fruitful in the end, in the grand scheme of things, you know. And you know, businesses in Web2 or Web3 alike, you know, it takes time, you know, and just going to be peaks and valleys, and it's going to go up and down. There's nothing's going to be smooth sailing, you know, straight up, like we've seen with Bitcoin went straight up, right? But it's going to retrace, right? Like even everything you look at goes up and down, and so we were just in a down period. You know, the RSI was really low for AC and the Dow and everything, but I think it's climbing out of there, and so I think there's big things ahead, and with the bull run happening right now, or at least some would argue that it's going to happen. Trump is very, very pro crypto, so we'll see what happens once he takes office. U.S. government owns a ton of Bitcoin, so we'll see what happens. Regardless of your political views, I think Bitcoin likely wouldn't have gone up as high if Trump wasn't elected. You just look at the time that it started taking off. It's pretty pretty obvious there. Hang on one sec. So, it took off. Might look at some charts later if we have a little bit of time. But I think we're going to climb out of this, guys. You just have to give me some time. I've done this before because I'm working full time. I'm working full time in consulting, but not for myself. I'm consulting with a company, alongside a company, and so it's just going to take some time to build that nest egg back up. I mentioned it in one chat. That during election season, during holidays, I don't trade a ton of stocks. I kind of sit on my hands, and I probably would have been trading crypto, but I just kind of took a break from Web3 in general. But as we lead into the new year, as you guys know, I'm pretty conservative with my trades, long-term, mid-term type of style trading. I will definitely start trading again in January-ish, and start building my nest egg back up with stocks, maybe some crypto too. But all of my stock plays, every single thing I do in real life, you're going to see it in the stock calls. Human Biomass is in here, which is awesome. He's been doing great, throwing out the crypto calls. And if you just look back at a lot of our teachings and trading classes, you should have made quite a bit of money. If you just look back on Bitcoin and where it was, the last time it kind of dipped really low was in September. Then you had a steady flow, little retrace, but for the most part, it's just been taking off, right? So be careful with what you listen to, what you see especially in regards to Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. It's at all-time high, right? So you're going to hear hey, I've heard it in the news, hey, it's going to go to $1 million, or it's going to, and maybe someday, it's going to go a whole lot higher, right? Depending on your trading strategy, if you're looking to make kind of short-term, mid-term plays, the RSI is hot right now, right? It's not ideal time to buy. Now, on the flip side of that, if you're in it for the long run and you're going to just throw it in your ledger and not look back and just carry on with your days, then yeah, any time's a good time to buy crypto if you're a crypto maxi, right? So two ways to look at it there, right? You could potentially get wrecked if you're looking at the short term and you buy a bunch now. If you're looking long term, unless you're 85 years old, it's not a bad time to buy, right? So, sorry, just checking out comments here. Yeah, 1 mil. I can see that happening. A lot of it has to do with regulation. That's the only thing that is going to hinder that, right? If the entire world was crypto friendly, pro crypto, I can absolutely see that, and especially if we start adopting a digital currency like most people are predicting, I could absolutely see it, just continue to take off. That's why we're all here, guys. We all believe in crypto and the technology behind it. So, but short term, mid term, just be careful buying now. Wait for it to cool off and retrace a little bit. If you're in it for the long run, fire away. But even if you're in the long term, just wait for it to retrace a little bit. It always retraces a little bit. It just did, right? It went back down to 92,000 just back in November 26th. So, and now we're back up to 97. So So go if you guys have not looked at how to just read simple charts. I definitely have a ton of classes on that. Reading MACD, reading RSI, and cycles, and all those fun things. I know, even though I'm not chatting a ton, I still come in and try to catch up as much as I can. So I know quite a few of you have made good money, just trading from RSI, which is awesome. So that's a big part of this project, right? Is to provide education so that you can trade on your own. So you're not sending money to non-custodial wallets and doing all the dumb things that we have done over this past several months. I did want to touch up on stacks a little bit. If you guys have kind of moved on from that, that's great. I think that's a smart thing to do. However, if you are with the Berwick Law Firm, go to the Stacks chat. If you don't have permission, just let me know and I'll give you permission to view those channels. But we kind of gave an overview. Berwick came on and did a VC a few days ago, and they just kind of went over the latest updates. The biggest surprise to me, the biggest news to most, was OCB, JAMPS, and Hydrase, Brando with ATS, and Cyrus with whatever the freaking apes are. They were all behind it. They all knew it was a scam. They called it, Berwick is labeling it a multi-level marketing scheme, where they, it started obviously with G, and then UA3, Patty, and all the croonies there. They all knew what they're doing. They operated this at a high level, and leveraged influencers in Web3 that had a high impact on their communities. So, obviously they're all behind it, so they're all getting served. I think most of them already have been served, they had mentioned. Correct me if I'm wrong in there. Yeah, Jamps was a friend of Patty's. I think he brought him in, just because he had scammed before in real estate. But yeah, and all those guys were down in Costa Rica and probably just figuring out how to milk even more money from people. Kenny is involved in that conversation. They're still getting more data and more interviews with people. I've already given my interview with Nick. If you're not familiar, Berwick, I forget his first name. He was there. He's like the main guy that started it. The company he spoke, but Nick is kind of like the hustler behind it all and is getting all the data and taking all the interviews and all that. So that's still very active, guys. We have all the DAO transactions. Another thing worth noting, they're going after OpenSea as well, just because of all the NFTs that were. So it's not just they're going after, all of the actual money that was put into these pools, but also all the NFTs, including OCB, ATS. Guys, tell them Apes Together Strong. Is that what it is? That's Apes Together Strong. But what's Brando's project? I forget Brando's project. I think he has a few different ones. But regardless, they're trying to go after OpenSea. They had said that it's unlikely that OpenSea is going to be liable for any of this. They just said it's kind of like, if they go down with this lawsuit and proven guilty and wrong, then it kind of like deflates their entire business model, right? Because how many scams NFTs have they posted on there? It's impossible to kind of not to operate without having those scams, right? I know there's some measures in place, and some projects are trying to implement measures, but then it goes circle back all the way around. Being this decentralized space, it's a very difficult thing to do without any type of regulation, and we're seeing that with all these scams and all the theft. And NFTs are just like, they already had a kind of a bad rap, but man, oh man, it just continues to pile on, and it's definitely changed over to more, meme coins, small mid cap, type of trading, NFTs. I haven't even dove in. I don't even know. Mints, I mean, since all this stuff has happened, I have not even peeked at NFTs. So I assume they're not doing great, but maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, normally in a bull cycle, NFTs will kind of stay stagnant when you see big pumps like this. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Supreme Kongs. Thanks, Barzo. So Kongs is part of it too, right? Cyrus was all part of that. They knew it was a multi-level marketing scheme, and G's in jail. Last they heard, but they were pretty funny about it. They just said they say he's in jail, but also other people think he's like on some camels right in the desert. You know, it's just all these dumb stories that are coming out in rumors, and but the biggest concern was like, hey, G's broke. You know, like he's in jail, he's broke, he doesn't have any money. But the good news is OCB has been valued over 8 figures, and will be a big part. And Cyrus has a bunch of money, Brando has a bunch of money. So it's kind of like a joint lawsuit that all of them are going to be on the hook for, since it was, again, like an MLM, right? So there will be some money, which is really, really good news. Because that was one of my biggest concerns too. I'm like, where the heck are they going to get this? You know, like G's in jail. He's, you know, a gambler and probably blew it all away. Maybe he has some nest egg somewhere. Who knows? But so that is some good news, guys. We'll likely see some back for the DAO. If you, I highly recommend. They're still taking wallets right now, so you definitely have to. G's in jail. Apparently, just according to them, they said he's in jail in Dubai. But who knows? Maybe that's just a rumor. But yeah, if you guys aren't in Berwick, it's just a simple intake form. If you go to Stacks Updates, that channel, I believe somebody or myself posted it. Maybe one of you guys can even post it in this chat. And it's just a simple intake form, and Nick will get back to you once you send that in. I do recommend sending a pretty clean spreadsheet to them, just so it's not sloppy, because they have gotten back to me and said, hey, this is too confusing, clean it up, kind of thing. So yeah, so if you went through Apex, the DAO's wallet is included in this lawsuit, so yeah, you guys don't have to do anything there. So, you know, not only through the DAO, but that Campfire Syndicate, right? That wallet and all those transactions, all those things are sent. Whatever, how much money? I think it was like 23,000. And a lot of people got paid back by Kenny. Remember, he had some random wallet with a bunch of money on it, and he paid back the low dollar amounts. So obviously, those transactions are recorded, and you guys won't. Those people won't be getting anything back, but everybody else that did not get paid back anything will be part of all this. Yeah, 100%, Sunzio. They wouldn't be wasting time. You know, attorneys aren't dumb. They've been dumping a ton of resources into this. That's one thing he had mentioned. Lots of resources, lots of time. I think, what is it, a 40% cut? Is that right? So that's a lot. I mean, multi-millions worth, millions and millions of dollars in stake here. So obviously not all of it's going to be recovered, but also, yeah, 40%. Also, so I think Jampers, because I'm still in OCB. The only NFTs I own now are ones that are staked. So OCB was staked, so I still have access to their channels. I just looked at it the other day as he was talking about OCB, and Jampers is taking a break. So he knows all this is coming. So if you do hold an OCB, I don't even know what they're worth or if they're worth anything anymore, but you might want to look into to selling. I'm going to be doing the same soon, especially now that I know that they're part of it. So hopefully some money back there, right? And I wouldn't count on it. You know, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all this as a loss. So for tax purposes, under 100%, I would just consider this stolen, lost stolen money. And if we get anything back, then that's a bonus. So who knows how long this is going to take too, right? These lawsuits don't happen overnight. It's going to take some time. So if you're doing your taxes, U.S., you had to have done them if you file an extension in September. And we're coming up soon in March, April, right? So I'm going to be treating it as a loss, and if we get anything back, that's a huge bonus. 0.15 for OCB. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody look it up. That'd be interesting if it's that much still, especially with ETH pumping, or at least up at 3,500. So moving from stacks, there's a little tiny hope there. Tiny bit of good news. I think they do have recordings of those. I only communicate through them through email. I'm not sure if they have a server. If they do have a server, if somebody can throw it in chat. But they did say they were going to do like a summary of the call, but I kind of did it for you guys in Stacks chat and kind of just talked about it too. So there you go, 0.1495. So also on the DAO. So first of all, Alpha Camps. As much as it still hurts to kind of sign into Web3 and dig through all this, I still love teaching, and I still love education as much as I can. So I do want to start doing, and instead of live sessions, I might, just because it's so tough with work, I'm likely going to just start recording some trading sessions and just looking at charts. I'll still come on and make it more spontaneous. So if a few of you guys are around, I'm going to tag everybody and just jump in and record it and just go over charts again. It's what I love doing. So we'll go over some stock charts too. We'll go over some crypto, and I don't know, maybe we'll get creative. We'll get human biomass, and we can get together and maybe do some together and just go over charts. With crypto, you guys know me. I usually stay away from the meme coins. Usually stay away from. I usually just stick with the big ones, right? So I'll more discuss those, but human biomass has a lot of good plays as well. But I do want to focus on some stocks as well, and I want to show you. I've showed you guys before, like how in the world do I come up with these random plays, right? It's all starts with EFTs. Going to these, say like a QQQ, and seeing like, hey, what are they investing in? And I add all those companies that they invest in to charts. So I save all their charts, and I just wait for the RSIs and MACDs to hit the sweet spots. So yeah, I'm just looking at all of those, and that's the easiest way to find them, in my opinion. What are these firms? What are they investing in? So that's how I find stocks, and I have a stock trading 101. If you just search in the education section, I think it's in education, maybe visual learning, but one of those channels, just look in stock trade 101, and I literally go through it screen by screen to show you how I find these plays. Honestly, guys, if you understand RSI and MACD and trends and look at past history and just understand what's coming up with stocks, with financials coming out, and you kind of have like a big picture view of, hey, our election's happening, our war is happening, okay, and just use common sense sometimes, right? I mentioned in the stock trading channel, like, hey, hurricane season's coming. Here's a bunch of companies to look at because it's hurricane season. And then literally like 2 weeks later, Helen came through, and a ton of those stocks just absolutely ran, right? So that's kind of the fun thing with stocks is you can kind of find some beat up stocks. I remember I did really well with airlines and cruises during COVID. They got so beat up, and so hey, these are great mid to long term plays. Let's pick up some some shares. And then as we got out of COVID and people started traveling again, what do you think happened to those stocks, right? So a lot of it is just common sense and patience, and being very disciplined with trading, and trading like a robot with zero emotion behind it. And I talk a lot about that in all of my sessions. The emotional side is maybe more important, equally as important as knowing what you're doing, right? Reading RSI and MACD and trends is pretty simple. Lots of training on that. Go back and watch those. If you've watched them before and you're still not making money, go back and watch them again. So I'm going to go back to kind of roots and get back to trading. We're coming up into this bull run, hopefully, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when Trump gets in office with stocks. I can see some red in the short term and some green in the long term. And I like it when stocks take dumps, and even crypto. Great buying opportunities, right? Everybody gets all hyped when there's massive pumps. The only time I get pumped is if I had bought in that when it was low, right? But when everything's running, that's not the best time to buy. You kind of want to wait for it to retrace, right? So I enjoy both sides. I enjoy when everything's in the red, and I enjoy everything when it's in the green, if I bought into that, right? So just trying to reshape your thought process and just be very careful with influencers, what you're reading, what you're watching. Trust yourself over everybody else. Trust your trading, and a great way to trust yourself is, and have confidence, is being disciplined, right? So I'm going to dive more into the psychology of trading more. I know we've talked about it a lot, but I learn every single day too, right? So even though I'm not in Web3 space every single day and grinding like I used to, I'm still very studious on trading patterns and psychology behind it all. And so I want to circle all the way back to our roots, man, and I'm so bummed that I veered away from that. And that is to use Alpha Camps as a vessel to educate you guys so that you can make trades on your own and make money on your own. And rather than all these alpha channels, and I don't even know if there's a ton of them anymore, NFT projects, but rather than all the wins being calls that are made, and we'll still do calls, I'd much rather see that win channel just being filled with people that said, hey, I bought when it was oversold, and I sold at the peak. Doing trades on your own. I mean, that's what I hope to see most in that win channel, is that you guys are doing it, right? And you're just using your token, your Alpha Camps token, as a way to stay sharp with your trading. I get it. Some people don't have time to do that and do all the research and go through all the videos and all the education channels. That's why we'll have these alpha calls, right? Even Biomass has been doing them. We'll get back to, I'm mainly going to stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then focus on stocks too. Very important to diversify. We talk about that a lot too, guys. So if you can, find a brokerage account, open it up, and start getting a little bit uncomfortable and doing new things, and that's how you grow. I remember one of my mentors said, get uncomfortable every single day. Do something uncomfortable, and that's how you see growth. So I encourage you guys to do the same. Some people that have never traded stocks don't really understand it, so they stay away from it. I encourage you guys to diversify. Get out there and get uncomfortable and learn. So I'll be hitting that stock channel alpha calls pretty heavy come January. And just give you guys, I think I want to start breaking it down more, not just showing you charts of why I want to make this trade, but kind of the psychology behind it too, right? Alright, just catching up on catching up on comments here. So that's Alpha Camps. The Dow continues to get all those VC deals we've done, right? They just get dumped into the new wallet. So you got to think with the bull run that these TGEs, token generation events, are going to start happening now. Okay, so you think of like KIP, especially, we went pretty heavy in there, and a lot of others. When the market was in the dumps, you're not going to have your token generation event, right? You're not going to release it when everything is negative and on the downswing. You want to have that token generation event when there's lots of eyes on the space. A lot of people, during bear markets, they just kind of just sign off, and especially players with a lot of money, right? Now, with everything in the green, which by the way, the stock market is having a good day. And I'll just note too, UniFi is moving. So if you guys invested in that, take a look. I also have, and yeah, a lot of the stuff I called has done well. So these TGEs, you got to expect that a lot of these projects are going to have the TGE soon. I can see the same thought pattern where we're going to wait through the holidays, going to wait until Trump's in office before we have that. Typically, like December, January, there's a lot of people signed off, right? So we can see, early Q1, you can start seeing some TGEs happen, and that's just going to help out the Dow and also yourself if you got in privately. You're going to build, and I know Mentify just had a advisory call not too long ago. That TGE is coming up soon. He didn't give dates, but it is coming. So the Dow's in that. I think a few of you got into it through Vispix. Vispix actually was not brought up at all in Burrick, I was surprised. I know whatever's Kingsmith was in early with G. Maybe that's why he left, because he knew it was MLM. I don't know, but they weren't mentioned at all, and they're still active. We're all staked. All of our NFTs through that project are staked, so those didn't go anywhere. We do have a Mentify contribution through the Dow, and quite a few others too. So they've been paying out. I'm sure just about. I feel like just about any project is shady, but I don't know. So far, they haven't led me to believe that they're not. They're kind of delivering on their promises so far. Human Biomass, I guarantee you somebody has brought them up 100%. And maybe they are. I don't know. It just wasn't brought up the other day when they were naming off everybody. They just named off Brando, Cyrus, OCB, and possibly Kenny. So as those TGEs happen, remember you have a token generation event, and then you have a vesting period. Most of the time, I've noticed with crypto, it's 12 to 24 months or so, and you're going to have payouts throughout that vesting period, right? Like you just look at Portal. We had the TGE back in March, and since March, they're releasing the coins, and those go for 12 months, so you will continue to get payouts until March. So that's a 1-year vesting period. And if you look at the Dow portfolio and you look at all of the VCs that we've invested in, usually has the TGEs investing periods in there. The TGEs, though, are to be determined, right? So there's not a whole lot that are active right now. We got like Sharkify, we have Portal, obviously, which we've done really well with, and a few other small ones. Gaiman was another one. But I think we have somewhere close to 15 VC deals, and only about 3 or 4 of them are active, guys. So So that's what I mean. Like, give it time. The DAO's gonna be back. It's just we just need some liquid, right? Last thing I'm gonna do is ask you guys for liquid, right? So we're gonna wait for these TGEs to start piling in, and then we're gonna be able to start trading again. Um, and at that point, the project will probably just be the hardcore AC believers, right? And so we're going to kind of circle back and get back to a smaller group and trade and make a ton of money with kind of a select few of the guys that decide to stick around. So that excites me, and that's one thing that I need to stay motivated with is when I'm excited about something, right? And it's almost like this comeback trail, um, let you guys down. Want to prove to you that you didn't make a mistake, coming into this project. And I sincerely hope a lot of you guys learned how to trade here. And I hope a lot of you guys have made money through trading outside of, all these partnerships. And that's the thing too that I'm really bummed, because I usually stay pretty disciplined with the businesses I've started in the past. Is just staying true to your core beliefs and values. And one of the core beliefs I had from the get-go is like no partnerships, nothing. We're not going to put any type of liability by bringing in other projects or other partnerships, and that burned us in the long run, right? Come to find out, most of these projects are just scams, and trash founders. And so again, going back to like the roots and making this a good place to be again. And I see I say it's going to take some time, but I see the activity definitely going up Q1 next year. But as far as me being in here every single day and giving calls every single day and classes 2 times a week like I used to, I'm just not there yet, guys. I mean, you just have to. And if you want to leave, I get it. It's just the spot that I'm in personally, and the thing that makes me cringe is I hate saying a lot of these words because you guys have heard all these words in so many projects before, and I've been there, right? Where the founder says, he's trying to buy time, or, and I just hate saying those things because I'm sure it creates like okay, I've heard this before, but I give you guys my word, man. I'm not going anywhere. I've told you that all along. I just need some time, and so. And also, it makes me cringe when people bring up personal stuff. That's why I don't bring up a ton of personal stuff. But I think you guys just need to know. I mean, I got a family of 4, and I know you guys don't like to hear it, but I have to support my family, right? So it's just going to take some time, and I've been there, done that before. That's why I know it's going to happen. I've been able to bleed out of corporate America and do my own thing, and a lot of that is stock trading driven. So. I will definitely be back, but it's just going to take some time. Great fun, yeah. So I left an update. Anikul Sunzio is pretty dialed in with Gray too, and I think he left a few updates. If you just go up to the Gray chat and Gray updates, they've been doing payouts here and there, but this last one has been kind of delayed. They've had these delays before in the past, so yeah. I mean, I'm not going to promise you it's not some freaking scam too. Who knows, man? It's just that's another, I think, 2,000 we have through the DAO. So I was hoping to get that $2,000, so we can start trading again. But with everything at all-time highs or close to it, I don't feel like we're missing out on anything right now. I am going to kind of do a DAO audit, and go through and really give a good picture of what we have, and because we have some stuff on Coinbase that wasn't touched, right? We've had some tokens sent to our new wallets and stuff, so we're not broke, but we are broke, right? And in regards to paying out people that went out of the DAO. That's another thing where I have to kind of go through with the attorney just to see what that looks like, look at the operating agreement, and come up with a game plan. I know some of you had said, hey, it happens in Web3 all the time, I mean, you get burned, you move on, I don't like that. I do want to, whatever it is that you guys sign in the operating agreement, which I've read quite a few times, I just need to go through it again on as far as what exiting and what payouts look like. I don't think payout details are mentioned, but again, I have to go through it with an attorney, making sure we're doing it the right way. Remember, it's a legal entity, right? So we're all in this together. It's not just me. it's what is going to protect all of us, right? So we're going to look at that and move on. PFP. So yeah, I mean, we still have all that amazing artwork on chain, and I'd love to get it out eventually, right? So haven't given up on that. I still see some benefits down the road. We were, I think the last VC before all this happened, I had done an update on some plans on the PFP, and those haven't gone away. Those plans haven't gone away. It's just in a holding pattern. So we are not even 2 years old, guys. So I've felt that we delivered a ton of value in 2 years, and this is just a downturn phase. Got to look big picture. I appreciate so much DK, Connor, Human Biomass, Stefan's even. I know he hasn't been as active, and then a lot of you OGs, right? You guys have continued to chat and help each other any way you can, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I mean, if we didn't have that strong of a community going in, there'd be crickets in here, right? So thank you guys so much. I mean, every single one of you in here, I see you guys in chat, staying active. I just ask that you guys continue to stay positive. We can get through this and make some money together. I hope you guys are making money through this bull. Hope you guys made some money on BTC. So Neo Discord is showing that gray is looking bleak. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, going back to never partnering with another company, another Web3 company ever again. Never, ever, ever, ever. So, we have another sour note, TTS, top tier signals. I've been keeping an eye on it. I'll send out occasional updates. I mean, it's just so in the red. I mean, that bot has been a nightmare, and I know a lot of you are antsy on getting funds out, but it's really like lost at this point. I mean, there's a bunch of trades still open. I have no idea if anybody's in their server. I'm sure they've lost a lot of followers. A lot of people, I assume, have gotten wrecked, absolutely wrecked. It shows like we have like 10 grand in that account. We started with like 26, somewhere around there. But it shows we're in the red, like 13 grand. So, at this point, obviously we're not gonna exit out of there. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that. It's you have 3 years of data and proof in the pudding, and then all of a sudden, big downswings, big upswings. That bot just performed absolutely terrible. And bots across the board, right? I mean, every bot I've tried has just been a mess. And it's almost like the lazy trading way out, right? Like it's almost telling yourself, I don't have time, I'm not good at trading, so I'm going to let a bot do it for you. And it just gets absolutely wrecked. Like I'd much rather put my trust with my money with myself and my own trading skills, right? So I encourage you guys to just become a student of trading. And I just don't know. I've never run into somebody that says a bot has made me rich. A bot has changed my life. And I see all the dumb ads too, just in the news with crypto and stocks. It's like, these people are making these millions and millions of dollars from these bots. And I've never met anybody that has made a bunch of money from a bot. maybe one or two trades here or there, but like consistently month in, month out, there's just no way. So maybe there's some out there that we don't know about, but every single one I've seen and tested are absolutely terrible. So yeah, I remember you bringing up hydro whales, human biomass. Yeah. All right, guys. We're 45 minutes in. I don't know if we have any questions. Hopefully I touched up on the things and spoke about the things that you're hoping I was going to speak up on. Still love seeing the PFPs, guys. Glad you guys are still rocking them. That was just such a fun grind. I was making those PFPs. I know DK and Connor can relate to that. It was almost like a void. We talked about it before, DK and Connor, but so used to doing it every day, and not doing it after that was kind of a bummer. I enjoyed that process. I'm glad you guys love your PFPs. Yeah, the DAO 2 or DAO Part 2. Yeah, Barza. I think it all starts with the legalities of it. We need to see what that exit looks like. My biggest thing is okay, attorney, can we create the payout plan as a DAO and agree on it? And those that want to exit, that's what you have to do. It is what it is, right? I'm pretty certain we can't just tell everyone to F off and sorry, you want to exit? Well, you lost all your money. That I don't feel comfortable about that, and I don't think legally that would work. So my question is, what does that payout plan look like? Is it a percentage of the type of money that we bring in? Is it a 10-year plan? I just don't know, right? So I need to figure out how we exit people out legally, and also not just decide or what it is legally, but also we have to decide as a group and put up a vote on the blockchain and make it official, put a stamp on it, right? So does that mean we start another DAO fresh, and we trade and a portion of that goes to paying people off? Or maybe even better, does the DAO 2 start completely separate and fresh and make money on their own, and all the TGEs and VC money that comes in, we just take that money and direct it straight to payouts and exiting people until that's all exited, and then the two DAOs form as one once everyone's exited. I don't know. There's lots of ideas we can kind of float and be creative with it. I just want to make sure that we honor those that invested. That's definitely where I'm going to differ from most founders. I'm not going to give you the burden. This is good luck. Sorry, it's Web3. We're going to make it right. The timing of that is the big question mark. So thanks, Dirty Money, for bringing that. Yeah, Stage. We were chatting quite a bit up until the theft. That's a great project. Yeah, Doc's awesome. YouTube Money. Yeah, so Infinite. 100%. Yeah, if we were to start another DAO, or we pool money together and start trading, that's not going to go to those that want to exit. 100%. My initial idea is to take all the VC money that comes in, that trickles in over time, and just using those to pay people off, and maybe we start a new DAO and small tight knit group, and we trade with that. And I definitely want to make that stock heavy. I was looking into it aggressively before all this happened for the PFP, so I can look more into that. Yeah, it just gets. I just don't know what it looks like. It's opening up, having an LLC open up a brokerage account, because obviously I'm not going to pay taxes on my personal taxes for stocks. So I don't know what that looks like, right? So I need to research that, and but stocks are going to be a big part of it somehow, some way, just because that's my specialty, and I want to make you guys money as soon as possible. So it'd be pretty cool to have like this group of 20, tight knit, and we just start killing it. Like, I want it to make it where the original Dow is just old news, and the money lost with stacks and all that BS is old news, and it doesn't matter because you're making a ton of money. Agreed, Brazo. Move on, right? It's almost like a bad trade you make. You have to move on. It hurts. Hurts like hell. To make life changes like I did, but you got to move on. All right, guys. Any other questions? Appreciate you guys. Again, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Any other questions too, guys? I mean, I come in on the server every day, but if you tag me, I'm always going to answer. If you DM me, I'm always going to DM you back. It's always accessible for you guys. Not go anywhere. Always said that. We'll move on and on to bigger and better things, guys. Appreciate all of you. If you came in late, I did record it, so I'm going to get it up and throw it in Visual Learning, even though I didn't share screen on anything. And then at some point, I'm going to get back to these daily or these weekly VCs, and we'll just focus on trading. Appreciate you guys. Cheers.